Dave B, you watching DaveBeyondTV, but we go beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And I got my man's over here, Saint Uno ATL in the building. You know what I'm saying? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, world? It's your man Saint Uno back again for another one with your Uncle Line.
Right. And we here, we keeping it real cool on this tourist moon, you know what I'm saying, enjoying the vibes. We breaking down some real practical tips and tricks on how to get things running on this, turning your social media into commercial media, upgrading it so that you could be more, in a position to engage and capitalize off of your intellectual property. Because basically that's where we at right now. It's like everything going on with the media. It's going from social, just there to have fun, kick it with your friends, to you need to have a plan. Like you need to be doing something on there. Either you're building or you're just wasting time. Because at this point, it's really a distraction. You know what I'm saying? In this time, things are serious. You know what I'm saying? But saying, we starting off real early. Ain't nobody even in here yet. But you know what I'm saying? We laying the foundation. Is there anything you wanted to kick off with just in the beginning? Any thoughts on it?
I just wanted to say I feel like I was the target audience for the first video you made, because like I even like how at the end of it you was like, all right, so that's like kind of the practical, like you did the 5 tips. It was real like practical, but then you was like, okay, but now we're gonna get into the astrology and the esoteric and all that. And that's what I love. Like I love being both. Like let's get to the money. Let's be in the world. We all fucking normal people. Let's not be too spiritual, holier than thou, but still keep it spiritual too. So I was like, oh man, this video is meant. So like I resonated with the topic. So I was like, and then I seen in the video you was like, if anybody want me to do the next one, I'm like, I want to hear the next one, but I want to be a part of it, because you know what I'm saying, I make content and shit like that.
Yeah,
collabed up. And that's
I feel like. Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, like I feel like right now, like speaking of the astrology and things like that, like I think that's the times we're in right now where it's like it's gotta be, we've been into this stuff for years and stuff at this point, you know what I'm saying, heavily invested, understanding it more as a tool rather than anything else. But it really is like if that tool ain't helping you, then what's the point of it in the first place? And so it's like, okay, how can I, when I sat down and understood it, even us being in this time period where we're experiencing, a planet like Pluto going into Aquarius. So, things being more techy, more tech based, we see technological advances. What I'm noticing the most of alongside that, we also got, Uranus being in Taurus. So how we have to go about creating stability at this time has to be completely unique. And one of the gifts of these platforms was the ability to say, no, this is my voice. This is how I'm going to control my expression of self. And I think somewhere along the way, what I just started noticing was like, you get a lot of people complaining and saying like, oh man, my life is in this phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm consumed by this phone, scrolling for hours. And on the flip side of that, even people who trying to get their feet together, it's like, oh, let me produce content, but they are jumping at it from that, like how it be when people try to do the quick get rich quick stuff, where they don't even realize what they really setting themselves up for. And it's like, this isn't, you have to understand that, how you approach this stuff matters. If you're trying to create stability, then you need to take it serious. You need to understand what these things is even doing. Because a lot of people, like I had a group of people I was making music with at one point and doing more management. And, we had a conversation where I was trying to bring to his attention, like, look, the stuff you retweeting on your Twitter page is kind of high key distracting from what your message is or your product is, what you're trying to create. And there was a disconnect there where it's like, even like as an artist, and I'm an artist too. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to control what you saying on here, but you have to think in terms of, okay, if you retweeting a bunch of twerk videos, but you trying to push this music talking about enlightenment or whatever you talking about, you on two sides of the, you know what I'm saying, the coin. Where now if your music or what you're creating is in alignment with that, then okay, we can work on something, we can get creative. But you know what I'm saying, if you got to think like, okay, this is a platform to promote yourself. and this is early on in 2020 before it really became a thing. But with everything being algorithm tuned and everything is about getting monetized, it's now more than ever just commercial media. It's not about your general interest. Like you used to log on and be like, "What's your interest?" We
And
don't
that's
give a fuck
the
about that.
yeah, no, that's exactly because you brought up Pluto and how and it's going into Aquarius, but that was my whole take on the retrograde going back into Capricorn. Like I feel like this
Right,
is the kind of byproduct of that. It's like it was in Aquarius, so like you might have met a lot of people online who had the same interests as you, and like
right,
it was kind of like a big it going back into Capricorn was kind of like a filtration system. It was like, okay,
yeah,
this these you might be into the same thing that I'm into, but only this person is going to be able to build something out of it. Only
right,
this person is serious about it, so we can
right,
become like a business and make it practical and stuff like that.
exactly,
So now, as it goes back in, it's like we can still be associated, but it's with the right. It's more refined. It's not just like, hey, everybody, free willy nilly.
right,
You know what I'm saying? It's like who's really
yeah.
standing on business out here when it comes to this type of shit.
Yeah, real shit. Because I mean, you got people, especially into that, like now, because the next wave of things I think is really coming through is going to be the push for internet regulation. So a bunch of laws, all kinds of things is going to
They're
be
already
limiting.
needed.
Right, already because it's a crazy place. I mean, people getting doxxed, people getting, you don't know who it is behind the camera and stuff like
Bro,
that.
so just to say on that, because I literally had a giveaway yesterday.
I see.
Did you see it? And like, I gotta do it. I'm gonna do it the next one after this live. Yo, the person that won the giveaway, apparently, like they got so many schemes. Like apparently, what I figured it out after the fact. But apparently, there's people who just sweep the internet for like giveaways and sweepstakes and shit like that,
Wow.
and they enter them in. So it's like a real person, but it's like
Yeah, it's
you
a
look at their
front. Like,
profile, they have no real nothing. I'm like, damn, this is a whole hustle. People just look at like just searching every day, sweepstakes, giveaway,
right.
and then they fuck around and that person won also because I just randomly did it. Now I look at this shit and I'm like, hold on, this person's fake. And I
And
got like
think about
five
how
different
many people
emails from a
really
whole group of
finesse
people like,
that.
oh,
Like,
this is my friend. She has cancer.
yeah,
I'm like, bro, this is it's like, and it's deep because it's like when you start to really think about how people like you got to keep it just business because like think if you're emotionally getting invested
right.
into all this shit just
Oh,
to figure out like
cancer.
it's not even real. It
Right.
like it'll drive you crazy. Like
Bruh,
you know what I'm
I
saying? So
see
there needs
that.
to be more regulation around this shit.
I see how you when you posted it because I saw the comment that was like, "Nah, this person's my real life friend," and they
They
really
sent
going. I'm like,
emails. They sent like 3 different emails from 3 different. That's when I knew it was. I'm like, oh nah, this is phony,
right,
bro. Like
like that is crazy. And think about like how you said, it's a hustle, and that's what people not realizing. Like you still on these apps trying to make friends, trying to like, it's okay to you're supposed to be expressing yourself, but I think people just lost the. It's about how you go about it, and it's not about like you said being emotional on these platforms or expressing your feelings or even sharing things about your life. Like people be overly comfortable showing their whole life and even the way people used to vlog and stuff. I mean, you go out in the world, it's like people will really step up to you and try you just because you popular streamer or something like that, or they think they know you because
right,
it's just like you said, like there has to be, first of all, as individuals, you gotta treat yourself better. Like what I'm saying, you gotta protect yourself in ways that you understand that like you don't know these people. You don't need to be sharing, your family and what I'm saying, your newborn child and just putting everything up on you just don't know, it gets
yeah,
crazy. But
yeah,
yeah, bro, let's go ahead and jump into some of these functions of these social media platforms, or now we're going to teach how to upgrade them to commercial medias. So
right,
what we're doing is we're breaking down different features and ways you could take advantage of as a artist, creator, whatever you claim yourself to be behind these platforms. And one thing you got to understand about how these platforms work, because they're commercialized, right? Everything when it comes to commercial things, business, it's all about they're always going to push you if you're using their new features, and it's about how you're on these features making other people want to stay on their platform.
right,
So Instagram wants to keep you on Instagram, so they're going to incentivize you when you're making things curated or looking like, oh, this is in alignment with how we can keep people on the program, that's what they're gonna push you more. Now, there's a other side of that into like how you also have to. Sometimes it is a form of pay to play. And speaking of that, did you have any experience paying for ads on like IG?
I did IG ads. Well, IG is not really ads. It's like, you can like boost a post. I
Yeah,
did that like years ago. I haven't done it since, but I did just recently do YouTube ads. But in terms of the IG, I wouldn't say boosting a post is a bad. What I did learn from that is if you are going to boost, I might start doing it again because you just reminded me. I haven't done it in a while, but when you boost a post, you should never just boost a post because you want it to get lit. You should let something get organically lit first, and then when something's already organically lit, then you choose, okay, oh, I'm gonna boost this and shit. Because when people just see
right,
like the whole everybody on the internet is like completely adverse to ads. Like everybody hates
right,
being advertised to.
right.
But like if you're boosting an organic post, it's kind of like that. If everybody's already liking it, people aren't hesitant to be like the first like on your page. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
because
it's
people
like,
think about that. They like, I'm the first person to like this.
yeah, like I literally, and I'm not, I literally, it's so deep. I just peeped because while I was waiting for you and shit like that, I was on IG, I was on YouTube, and I seen somebody that I know. They posted a vid like a couple of days ago. And it had no traction. I didn't look at it. I came back today. The numbers was up and shit. I ended up clicking it. I was fucking
Yo,
with it, and I'm like, damn, like
what they
the
talking about
psychology
there?
is so real. Like it's like it's just human nature. And that's why you can't take
Yeah,
it personal. It's like people
that's
not
true.
liking your shit. It's just like it don't be like it's not like my personal relationship with this individual didn't matter at all at that moment. It wasn't like, oh, I
Right.
don't fuck with them. It's just like I wasn't interested in the post when nobody else was, and then now a
Yeah.
whole bunch of people was interested. And I ended up fucking with it. So it's just like it's crazy. So you just got
Yeah.
to know that and not be in your feelings about it.
Right, right. That's very helpful too for the person making the stuff because you got to understand too. Like one thing I want to say like is like you have to treat it like like it's like nobody is gonna see. A lot of times you can easily get in your feelings when you post stuff and you feel like nobody clicking it, but you also got to be real with yourself and ask yourself, if what I'm putting out, is it to the level or caliber of like actual skill, or am I just too attached to the? Because sometimes you could be creating some, and it's like the truth about it is you just need improvement. You need to get
Yeah.
better at what you do, and you can take it personal, but it's a bit deeper than that. It's more like a certain thing with self where you have to understand and dig within yourself to become better at the things that you enjoy, and even your perspective going into it. Like when you're making stuff, like early on when I was making videos, I'm sure the same when you was making videos and making music and nobody was clicking on it, it's always a decision you have to make. Honestly, I would even say it's a choice to do it regardless. Like you have to be cool just doing you. Like, and that kind of goes back to even the Uranus and Taurus thing, where at the very core of it, it's like if you don't really, if this isn't you, if what you're making isn't a part of you, you're gonna get tired of it. You're gonna get exhausted. And if
Right.
you're doing it to get the stability or to get the what you see on the other end, that looks shiny and gold and stuff like that, you probably won't go the distance. Like it's gonna be something where people can tell, like how you even said, people can tell when they see like, oh, sponsored by on an IG post, they turned off. But it's an energy thing. Like we can tell when, oh, I did this because I seen Drewski do it and he got 1 million views and I want to be like him. But you got to really figure out who you are and make that lit. And that takes a bit of grit. It was maybe easier to do it back then because it was fresh and new. But right now, you really have to take that first step and initiative and really believe in yourself with it. Like, you know.
Nah, yeah, for sure. And I feel like a lot of people even because I feel like it was kind of because this transition has been happening gradually over time. But you putting a
Right.
word on it was just so like it's like now it's the way I saw it is like you gave us like a diagnosis. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like
Right.
you
Right.
might have had symptoms of a problem, but then
Right.
once you diagnose it, it's like, oh, okay,
Right.
now I can start to take the right medicine or do the right
Yeah.
treatment and shit like that. Cause it's
Right.
like I remember when I first made this transition in like 2015, like I remember my first IG post as like Saint Uno the artist. It was
Right.
like it was a really weird thing because back then it was still more social media. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instagram was just like the little filtered photos and shit like that. So
Yeah.
I remember putting my first post up and it doing like drastically worse than like everything
Well,
else back
sick.
then because it was like, oh, like this nigga think he an artist? Like what is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Who's this
bro.
guy and shit like that? But now it's kind of like a full circle thing. Like I'm glad I did it because now if you're not pushing no product or no artist or tree or
Who
nothing,
gives a
like
you
you
know?
just look retarded on. It's like you just posting your weekend on
Right.
IG. Like you're
Yeah, like
competing with
you just had
major
a regular lunch.
influencers
You didn't go
and
to no restaurant. Like you just mac and cheese. Like
right.
you ain't
At
go to
least do
no
a Keith
Ruth
Lee
Chris.
review of this shit or something. Like makes
Exactly.
like you gotta be,
Yeah.
bro. It's too
Where's the
much. Nobody
content?
just
Like,
want to see your weekend and shit. And so it ended up working out where it's like now I'm like, oh, okay, like I was just
yeah.
ahead of the curve type shit. Well, not ahead because that was still
But nah,
ahead of relatively.
high key. I mean, literally, I remember that because back in IG, it used to feel awkward posting something you was like, you're an artist, you a rapper, like SoundCloud rapper. Oh, that shit's dope.
Right, right. This is like
Now it's like,
2015, 2016. So that, yeah, that was like,
yeah. Now you got the most random people with a little link in their bio, like, oh yeah, I also do this arts and crafts. And like you said, we don't care about your social life for real. We don't care about your new kids and all this other stuff
right.
unless it's part of the brand, unless it's part of what you promote, unless you got a little T-shirt with your family name on it, and we can support that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, I love this topic because I just feel like it says a lot about just the mentality of the world right now, where everything is really kind of like everybody's in a brand new space, and so it really is open for you to jump in and get something popping. But
Hey, bro, can I leave? And I have to answer this call. Just invite me
yeah,
right
yeah,
back.
yeah. Go ahead,
I'm gonna hit
go
the
ahead.
link again. I don't even know how to leave. You like kick me out this bitch?
Uh, I think he figured it out. I think he figured it out. But
Okay.
yeah, he said Keith Lee mukbang. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? We need to see what you eating and stuff like that. We want to review on it and we want to know where to get it to. And that's just what the internet has devolved into and stuff like that. So, again, it's about understanding, okay, how you maneuver is just differently, even trying to make friends and things like that. We need to be, if we're trying to create an association on these platforms, you need to look at it more so from what can we mutually build upon? Like, okay, you have a talent, you have a gift, where can we match these things for them to be mutually beneficial for us to engage. And I know the counter to that is that what about just doing things for fun and out the kindness of your heart. And there's still space for that, but again, you have to just, it's more like a respect thing. Like if you walk into a place of business, that there's going to be business energy involved, meaning it's going to be people in suits and ties, it's going to be handshakes, and there's going to be a certain way, a certain language, way we got to talk, way we got to walk, that is going to match the vibe of where we at. Because wherever you at, even though you are a space in and of yourself, that's your uniqueness, that's your gift. But it's like the smarter thing to do is know how to maneuver it in your own way with your own flavor, rather than trying to be the square in a circle peg, instead of trying to you know force everything around you to convulge into you, because that's where you look at like narcissistic type energy. And sometimes in certain areas and locations it rubs everything wrong. And see, one thing about this game and how they tell you, it's about relationships, even how life works. A lot of times the relationships you build are a lot of the things, the connections, the people they tell you it's not about what you know, it's who you know. Because you can only know what you know. You can only know so much of you. But it's when you meet other people with completely different walks of life, other representations of all possibilities, that you're able to expand. And when you expand, it's like you're more powerful by default. You know what I'm saying? You good?
I have returned. Yeah.
Hey, good shit.
And
You got the job. You got $1 million. The
I
$1 million call.
hey, so speaking of the word job, that was literally my job calling type shit. So like that's why and like I don't even hate my job. Like I fuck with my job. It's cool and shit like that. But still, it's like there's still kind of like that loom. When you get spiritual, it's like, man, I need ultimate freedom over my
Yeah.
time and my
Right.
sovereignty 100%. So like they sent me on some so like I'm getting personal, but fuck it. Like
No, yeah.
Sunday mornings is like bro, that's when if I don't make music no other day in the week, I'm gonna make music on motherfucking Sunday morning. I got a
Word,
whole
word.
visual team. Bruh, tell me why I get a call, and it's like, we got an early Sunday morning shoot. I'm like, oh no. And it's kind of crazy too. So apparently, this is like, because I work for the government. Kamala Harris is coming to New Birth Church. You in Atlanta?
Oh yeah.
So like, I'm like, gotta shoot her type shit, and I'm like, damn. So I can't even like. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
damn,
can't
but
be
on
sick.
Sunday though, like that's my. Oh, so I'm just like, man, I need my YouTube to get lit, so I don't have to go and do. So I can,
Right.
I need my music to blow. So that's why shit like this is important, man.
Right.
Motherfuckers can't be telling you what to do with your time. Is like the most valuable resource. You know what I'm saying?
Real
So it's like,
talk.
if you're not in control of your time, it's like what we doing. So yeah, and this is, I don't know what you was just talking about, but in my years of like, just like you said, doing paid posts, doing YouTube
Right.
ads, like nothing compares better to like community collaboration. Like that's the best. Like my channel
Real
would be
shit.
nothing without like you, Dolo, Mooney,
Right.
like people sharing my shit. Like I was just throwing fucking videos into a void, right? Until
Right.
I got into like, it's just like you need people, and like it's like, if people don't respond to ads, like I tried all the,
Right.
it's like people, it's like a who you know. Even like when you see famous people and shit, they all be getting put on by other famous people. So if you don't know
Yeah.
somebody famous, it's just like, do you know somebody who fuck with you
That
and they could
cosign.
like help build shit? You know what I'm saying? So that's like
Yeah.
that's like the ultimate. That's the one thing I fuck with IG so heavy for. You could do like collaboration posts. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm waiting. I think TikTok got like a beta version of it, but I haven't seen it really pull out yet. But any platform that allows collaborate, that's the best 100% mode, the
Slick.
way to grow your social. If you're not collaborating with people, your shit ain't going nowhere.
Right, man. You slick with TikTok, they really hit it off with being able to stitch. You know what I'm saying? You can reply to somebody with the video of their video.
Right,
And that
right.
kind of changed the game too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
for
And
sure.
what because we do like you, that was a great segue into talking about features. But you said something like that was really powerful about how things don't move without people. Because honestly, I think back to when I was starting out too, like, you know, on IG with a whole new mindset, like, okay, yeah, I'm about to push my videos, my content, my music and all that. It was having a community like that we did with the subconscious community that really helped actually, you know, build things up, because it was like having that little inner network where it was agreed upon that, hey, look, if you post it, I'm finna check it out, finna support. Without that jump starting, it's like you said, you're just in a void. And that's kind of like, that was us doing things before we understood where things was leading to. Because now it's literally like, if you're starting from the ground out now, you need to be considering that. Like, how can you kind of create an ecosystem? And that's kind of even what I feel like they're getting at when they say niche down, you know, and find your group. And, you know, whatever your uniqueness is, you'll cultivate your group by just doing you.
Right, exactly. It has to be from an authentic starting point. Because
Yeah.
I tried to basically like make my own, being lost in the, oh, I just need people to support my shit, but it was on a
Right.
phony starting point. So it just ended up being a whole bunch of niggas trying to sell me forex. I was like, man, fuck, y'all
Right.
don't want.
Like,
You remember that whole little forex craze? Everybody selling forex. So I found
right.
some people. I'm like, all right, y'all, support my. Oh yeah, we fuck with your music and shit like
Yeah.
that. Them
By
niggas
the
is, but
way,
like, can you join our forex club? I'm like, bro, I'm not joining y'all fucking forex club, bro. So
and
that
they
shit
was
fizzled
building a
out.
community with that forex shit. They was like, come
Exactly,
on.
but like, birds of a feather flock together. I wasn't flocking with that, so then I just like, you know,
Right.
fuck it. I'm gonna just do my own shit, and I started
Right.
Taking L's podcast, and I was like, fuck. And then eventually Dolo came to town, and that's when I met you. Literally, like
Yeah, that's when we linked up.
I pulled up knowing nobody. I was like, I'm gonna try to get Vody in my podcast though, because he could low key lit online and shit, and then it just grew out from there. I met Kales and everybody. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
That was
Man.
2020, bro. Fucking 4 years, damn near 5 years ago. Like,
And that's been the transition. Cause like, you know, we've been online like before that, like you said, 2015, 2016, I was on. But it really 2020 was where just the actual initiation to that transition came. Because I think that's around the time, I don't know when exactly YouTube became super money heavy or super commercial based, but it was around that time where deals was getting made, media companies was dissolving, and it was like, you know, even right now, like, you know, one thing I was hearing somebody talk about, the Universal has a deal with Meta and Instagram, And a lot of
That's so
artists
crazy you
now.
said that, because I was just typing in, when did Leor Cohen become head of YouTube? So you just
Real
brought in the
shit.
mute. And I didn't even say nothing, but you just went right to the mute. I'm like, yeah.
Universal.
But yeah, he became head of YouTube in 2016. So
yeah, that was around the time. Yeah, because that's when like super chats. I remember like people's live chats was you could donate through there, and that's when they I think started probably pushing the early stages of that creator programs and things like that. But recently like Universal got to deal with IG Meta, and there's a lot of artists now, big name artists, trying to drop on IG instead of going through DSPs.
right, the
And
whole
we've been
beef did
talking,
that.
you know what I'm saying, DSPs like the for people who don't know, that's like the music streaming, Apple Music and all that shit. They've been paying people pennies and things like that, but they've been kind of labels have been trying to find their footing and redo their whole, their business plan. So it's like a lot of things where you're gonna start to see IG be more of a playground for music being pushed and things like that. And depending on how that goes, the conversation between should you just go to streaming or should you be direct to consumer, just post your stuff where you got it, download links in the IG program or wherever, you should get your own website. But and that's even a different conversation because the way they even doing websites is going to be more like how they say that's web 3
Web3,
or
yeah.
web, what I'm saying, going more web 3 where we talk about that metaverse shit. But before we get into that, we need to say that for another live, man.
Right, yeah. It's so much, bro.
Right. But yeah, and crypto too. That's gonna be a big thing too. But for the sake of this video, let's start out with YouTube. You was talking about doing YouTube ads. And one thing I noticed, you said no.
No, I was just saying I don't recommend them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Because basically, Say's about to break down YouTube different features, and you can start with the ad because I'm interested
Well,
in
you
that.
know, what I'm excited for YouTube, and the people that watch me probably, well, I ain't gonna say they're not excited, but YouTube, I just seen academics. They got like it's like you can get like a paid subscription now on YouTube. Have you seen that? It's like there's like levels. It's like
The
you can become
membership?
like a member or something, and then
Yeah.
people who pay to be like get like exclusive content and shit like that.
Right.
So I saw that and I was like,
Wait a minute,
because
right?
unless your video get a goddamn like 1 million views, it's like $5,000. So it's like the ad money and shit. So other than like the donations and shit like that, like long term money gain for YouTube, yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I'm not thinking about it right now. I'm still like getting my weight up in terms of that, but
Right.
it is like
That's
hey,
something to think about, though.
don't be surprised, y'all, when y'all see exclusive membership on Saint Uno video. You know what I'm saying? Like that motherfucker.
Right.
Because like I said, like I ain't trying to have nobody tell me I can't spend my Sunday morning how I want to. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
so for the people, because I know people get weird where it's like, oh, you shouldn't ask for money and shit like. But it's like what are we doing though? You know what I'm
Again,
saying? It's
commercial media.
like we
All
up
that
here
social
every day.
friend
Like this is
shit,
like
like,
time is money. Like niggas is spending time.
and that's what they are on these apps. It's like all these apps is your time and your attention. And it's like, to be honest with you, it's like that's what you're doing. You're spending time on these apps looking at people. Look, that what they're doing is taking time out their day to make the stuff you watching. So that's
Right.
that fair exchange.
Yeah.
And if you're not in that mindset to kind of switch gears, it's like you're gonna be, I don't want to ask, I'm not gonna ask for money. I'm just gonna do what I do for free. That's cool. But
Right.
again, understand the platform, understand where you at. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't I don't know. I don't know how to say it. It's
And
like,
I feel like people don't really think like that outside of the quote unquote spiritual community.
right.
Because so with my business, I do social media management for other content creators and companies and shit like that. And I like notice when I like do shit for them, it's like, you know how like you feel weird being like, okay, y'all like the video. It's like,
Yeah.
because it is kind of pandering. It is kind of, but it's like weird. It's like, what am I trying to say? It's like they're like allowed to do it because they're not even, that filter don't even run through their mind that it's weird.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is just the world we live. They're so in the world
Right.
that they'll be like, oh, like this and pay for, and like people have no problem giving money. And I'm like, damn, like I should incorporate. But then when I start to incorporate it, I feel like it's kind of weird because I'm like, oh, in the spiritual community, that's kind of frowned upon. But it's like, if we ever want this shit to be real, then not just la la land, like the same way that quote unquote people in the regular world got a bunch to learn from spirit. It's like it works both ways. It's like we gotta stop kind of take the stigma off of like being like it's weird to offer value and not expect compensation for it.
Right.
Because it's like this shit is valuable. Like
exactly. And that's the thing. It's like it shouldn't feel embarrassing because or weird because you're pushing value. There's a lot of people in the world who not pushing value but still saying, hey, like and subscribe, hey, do this. So it's like you said, like it's and I think Steven even said it, he dropped a comment. He said these apps encourage people to take each other for granted. And
boom, that's a gem. Damn, we need like a little highlighted comment thing from
yeah.
from
How do I do that?
StreamYard. Can you do that on YouTube? I don't know. Put me
I
on the
think I
feature.
can, or pin message. If I can pin it or something like that.
Oh, put me on game. Put me on game.
Right.
Yeah.
But real talk. And at the same time, devalue yourself. You know, you get convinced like, oh, there's people doing bigger things than me. People, you know, but it's like, nah, you special in your own regard. You gotta treat yourself like a brand of business. Like you don't see these other brands, McDonald's be like, oh nah, Burger King across the street. We'll just dim our light a little bit. We'll just cut our lights off. No, it's like, no, we in the game. And it doesn't have to be emotional. It doesn't have to be trying to slaughter the next person because you know that's a different conversation. But it's like it don't gotta be cutthroat. But you gotta look at yourself and be like, no, I'm pushing value. So you know you don't gotta bleed everybody you doing business with. Like, oh, I need $1 million up front. Frame it realistically into what your
it's Libra season. We gotta have balance. We gotta have balance.
Yeah. Still, you know what I'm saying? Still.
Yeah, it's like, all right, like I get it. We spiritual, but like spiritual niggas got bills too and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in this world.
And then if we create an ecosystem, it's like when you like realize, okay, like we're all in the same ecosystem doing the same thing, it's like it's gonna be like a self-support. It's not like we're taking like literally that shirt you got on right now, I got one in the mail. Shouts to Free. I caught that shit. Yeah. I got your Equinox hoodie in the mail. You know what I'm saying? Like we did the whole show collab. It's like we put in like we exchanging actual dollars and cents with each other so it's like imagine if that trickles out through the whole system. It's like then we can all be in like everybody want to say tribe and shit like that, but it's like you are not a tribe if you can't be self-sufficient to a certain extent. So if we're all just going out in the world to get our means together and then only tribe when we got, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day when it like that's cool for it to start out, but like we gotta take it a step further.
And I feel like that's old stuff. Like that's when we was really broke back in 2015. Like just meeting each other. It was like, yeah, I fuck with your stuff, and we had to build that rapport. And you know everything you said really goes into that Aquarius type energy that is kind of coming in. It's like, okay, yeah, you have to be self-sufficient on your own. You got to build it up so that you can invest into the things that you care about. And if you care about, it's like all that community stuff, what really makes it strong is like I remember when I was first into this type of stuff, it's like the first thing that's going to make any group of people strong is understanding economics. That's not just money, but it's the exchange of value amongst that group. And what y'all commonly agree on is valuable, and what you are exchanging to either build and come in an agreement also to continue to build on that and not to take from it. And that's what you get nowadays, even with like groups online. A lot of fake people will come in just for the dollar or just to get, oh, I just want to be a part of this group because I see y'all making money and stuff. And even that's the wrong intent. And we can spot that. That's a person trying to take, not investing back into, what we trying to build. And that has to be recognized and spoke on and exposed too for what it is. Because y'all got to protect yourselves. Anything you building, like you said, as a tribe. I feel like I had another point, but just like going on with that Aquarius stuff, that's where we at right now, where it's gonna take some actual real groundwork. Like y'all, we gonna really have to do something.
Right. And I feel like it started like you kind of mentioned it, but it's like it didn't start this way, but this is like a natural evolution of it. So it's like when we did get acquainted, it wasn't like, hey y'all, it wasn't like we was looking for money. We was really just like, hey, Delo's in town. Like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Let's pull really up. Oh, you got a camera? I got it. So it was genuine, but we also things have to evolve. You know what I'm saying? It can't
Yeah.
just stay there, or else it won't be respected in the world. And we do ourselves a disservice when we think that this shit that helped. Like, I know content creators like you, people, everybody. This has
Right.
helped my life so much. It's actually like selfish when you're not making this a thing in the world. But you got to
Right.
understand where the world is at. The world only respects dollars and cents and shit like that.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like we gotta, you gotta, what I always say, you gotta put the medicine in with the candy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
always remember, like, it didn't start off like just us being money hungry and shit like that. But we also can't acknowledge that like there's a natural evolution in these things
Yeah.
for it to be real and Libra again.
And
You know what I'm saying? All about balance. Goddamn it.
yeah. And the difference is, and like it ain't even money hungry. It's like it's a whole different energy where it's like, no, we're more so committed to building something rather than the people we see who are money hungry. It's a whole different energy signature where it's like everything that they make, like we were saying before, the people will put stuff out. But if it's the wrong energy behind it, it's gonna fall flat. It's something about it's not gonna really permeate. It's not gonna touch you. You know, you might even have like the accolades to make it or the status to make it seem like it's popping. Like you might get fake engagement, you might pay for followers, you might pay for this. But when we look in your comments and we look at like who really benefiting from what you making, or we look into it, it's like something's missing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It always gets
And
exposed.
I,
You
I
know
think
what I'm
that was your last point on the like that video was cool. It was like the last point was like you got to have like an exit. Like, this has to be a
saying?
real world
Yeah,
thing. It can't just
that
end up
bridge to reality.
online. Like, we
Yeah,
have to like have like a real, because like this online shit is so fake. It's the numbers is so, you can't trust
it's
none of
it's
it,
it's zeros and ones, bro. It's zeros
bro.
and ones.
Literally,
Online, I fuck with you. We can go live, but hey, you could be AI. You know, I met you, but
right? Yeah,
before
yeah,
I met you, it was circles and ones. Before I
yeah.
met, you know, say even the people in the comments, and it's like that's why again things like the 717
I was just
conference.
717.
You
Shout
know,
y'all
it
out, man.
goes
Y'all
back
goddamn
to this.
leading
You
the
know what I'm
world by
saying?
example, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It goes back to like everybody has to understand like what is your bridge to reality? How are you going to take what you make online exist in real life? And again, not everybody has to be, you know, Gary Vee and like, oh, I got to build this and I got to do this. But you know, you also have to figure out what you want to show up for, like because there might be people you also watch and consume online that are doing something that you know, figure out where you can support things. You know, it just kind of depends on how you want to live your life. But not everybody gotta be a pioneer and try to do crazy, you know, build this business. But if all you want to do is support, that's cool too. But figure out what in real life you can support and not just hide behind a keyboard, you know. But
Right.
you
But yeah,
know,
to kind of string it back in, because I do want to have who's kind of, we go
yeah,
off and
yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that.
We
But
gotta
talking about YouTube specifically, what I can say, you know what, one thing, and the one thing that I really love about this community, I don't know, words make sound corny sometimes, so I don't like to say that.
right
But
this community.
you know what? Yeah, but like the thing is that I really fuck with is like, yeah, niggas is spiritual and shit like that, but like everybody makes music, and like for me, that was the starting point. So
Right,
like that's why I fucked with Dolo. That's why I
right,
fuck with y'all, because it's like, oh, like really, if I'm being 100% honest, like, and this is not, don't take this as the spiritual content that I make isn't genuine or doesn't have value or isn't like real. But if I was not a music artist, that shit would not exist. You know what I'm saying? It's literally like I like read the algorithm. I'm like, okay, I could drop a music video every 6 months and my shit go nowhere,
right,
or I could do something every day. And you can't drop a
right.
song every day. You can't make it.
Talk
So it's
about
like
something.
it's still genuine. Like, I have to be
Right,
invested in my real life to get up here and talk about it every day. But I could have just used this shit for my personal life, and like I
right.
know my own natal charts, and I take the game. But like the algorithm, like I saw one nigga, and I get kind of weary, and I fuck with us too, because I feel like there's a lot of people online giving advice to artists who actually aren't fucking artists. I feel
Yeah,
like,
age of
and
bad
that
advice.
shit drives me insane. I'm like, they just talk about it from like a purely statistical 0 1s, and
Right,
I'm just like, bro, that's like one of my biggest motivations to like not make it, but like, bro, like I can really tell an artist how to make themselves because
right,
I did. It's not just me looking from the outside and saying, But I say that to
Exactly.
say there was one thing that this nigga Ray Daniels. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's some nigga
Ray
in
J,
Atlanta.
the name sound familiar.
He got glasses and shit. Like, all right, he an industry nigga, A&R type, just be talking shit. But one thing he did say, he was like, "Yo, I wouldn't even like, cause everybody's talking about how rap deals aren't shit no more and they ain't giving out no more
Right.
deals." He was like, "Yo, if I was an artist, if I was a label, I would be signing a content creator, not an actual artist." You know what I'm saying? Cause you can
Yeah.
see people like what's that little nigga name? Speed. Like he dropped the
Yeah.
fucking like World Cup song, and that shit it did numbers over like every actual artist because and that's why you see artists getting on people's live streams and Kai
Yeah.
and fucking
Straight.
made it
Yeah.
because it's
Right.
like
In the
that's where the
basement. Like, what you
algorithm
old
is.
ass
So
doing in the basement?
yeah, so like as an artist, it's like how bad do you I ain't gonna say want it, but it's like how passionate are about your art. You gotta like read the room. It's like, okay, I realize the algorithm is leaning towards content creators. It's not more. It's like artists are competing with streamers. They're competing with YouTubers, podcasts. Like when you
Yeah.
get in your car, you can put anything on. You're not just, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm from the
Anything.
days niggas used to burn the mix CD, put the CD in, and you
Right.
ride to
Right.
that
Right.
shit. So like the only shit you would play in the whip is music. But now it's like, bro, I can listen to this. So it's like to get people on your page to be around when you drop music, you got to
Right.
have some form of content. So I feel like
Something.
this is going to be like the standard for artists moving forward. People who can be content creators as well as artists and shit like that. People used to
Yeah.
want to think that was weird or lame or shit like that, but you're seeing now everybody's selling goddamn 4K and shit like it's like you got to just get with the times. It's like it's
Yeah.
about content creation, and then if people fuck with you, then you can drop your music and maybe they click and maybe they won't. But like that's reading the
Right.
room.
I really think that's why like
And
labels
shout out Mystical
aren't.
Mystery, even though this DaveB channel and shit like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
shout out Mr. Maestro. Yeah, like I see that time. I lost it. But big shout out to you. I appreciate that because again, it's hard out here. Like, look, hey, thank you. You said shout out to you, bro.
Right.
But real talk, like you said Kai even dropped the mixtape. Yeah, like when it comes to I
And that
think
shit
that's
gonna do
why
numbers too.
off of who he is, and I think that's why. See how labels was made. Labels was more so like banks. They wasn't even really. They just invested into an artist and they made that artist play a role. Like gave them a wardrobe, gave them an image, and said, "Hey, your music to make a hit, we need it to sound like this." And a lot of artists from back in the day just copied and pasted that. In today's time, that shit just does not work. It really is about what you are genuinely interested into. So, like, even if you are an artist and you're like, well, where do I start? How do I just make content? Start with who you are as a person. Like, it's never really been an easier time because if you pick up a camera, let's say you a rapper, right? And you a hood dude, but let's say you like turtles, my nigga. If you like turtles, pick up a camera and film you playing with some turtles. Like, it might seem weird, but your genuine interest can really be the next thing that's gonna make you different. Like it might start out as a joke, like this nigga over here playing with turtles. But let's say you genuinely interested in, turtle fact. Let's say you start making videos just talking about turtles and things like that. It might seem retarded. It might seem out of the loop. Like what is he doing? But that's what people actually want to see nowadays. They want to see, okay, who are you behind all of the you can rap all you want, but it's like, who are you behind all that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
What do
that's
you?
why even a lot of rappers started playing like Grand Theft Auto and shit like even gaming,
Yeah,
like
play
that whole
games.
like streaming came from just video games. It kind of evolved
Right.
into another thing, but like even that, like you see people are picking up. It's like I can't just be dropping my I think there's
Right.
one nigga T Grizzly. He got like a huge like whole universe in Grand Theft Auto. He's like, bro, I get
Yeah.
way more. T Pain too. He was like, bro, I get like millions of dollars just play. I ain't never making a song again in my life.
Right.
And again, it's not about the money. Like I'm gonna always make music. That's what I love to do. But it's like in order for it to be a sustainable thing, it's like artists have patrons. You know what I'm saying? Like they have labels.
Right.
The art has always been financed by another entity. But the problem with that is now you're allegiant to that entity to fulfill certain roles,
That whole
do certain
contract.
things. So that's why the art now is completely like stale because it's become completely about the money because it's always been funded by the money. But now
Yeah.
they're like, okay, we need a return on investment. And it's not making sense. So it's going to be a point where everybody going to have to be their own label, promotion. Like you got to fund it
Yep.
and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yep.
why, yeah, it's commercial media now. Like it's not social media. Like if you ain't got no plan to make this shit make dollars, then it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, straight up, and straight up. So you talked about YouTube features. So we started okay, we talked about memberships. You had said though you had ran ads and you don't recommend it. How
Well,
come?
it was a net negative, but like there were certain so you remember in the beginning of this live stream where I was like, oh, I seen Buddy video and it didn't have no views, I didn't click it. Then I came back a day later, it has a views and I clicked it. That would be like in a perfect world, if I had unlimited budget and shit like that,
Right.
I would still be buying YouTube ads because although 95% of that shit is fake bots, I did notice
psychologically
people that had seen in other
right.
communities, whether they watch you, whether they watch Dolo,
Right.
I ain't never seen them fuck with me before, and I seen them fuck with my channel now, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like the popularity effect. Like, oh, people are watching this, let me go watch it now. And that's what the music. That's even before internet and shit. That's what labels would do. They would sell a million CDs to Target and say this is projected to sell 1 million. Everybody hears that,
right,
and then they go to Target to buy it. But they were just saying it was projected to sell 1 million because Target bought 1 million copies.
Right.
So it's like you can't ignore the psychology. So it's good in that aspect. But if you're thinking you're going to actually reach everybody that subscribe to you is actually interested in you, this shit is
you see
phony.
that on YouTube a lot. Like people have a whole bunch of subscribers, but who's actually clicking on the video? It'd be like 1,000. Like it'd be like, small.
So that's when I think I did it for a good amount of time and I stopped. So it's like now because it started to look retarded that like my growing was growing, but then my live stream I had 10 people. I'm like, all right, let me like keep it at this level. And now I got enough to kind of, and I got my shit monetized now, so it got me over that little threshold.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So it did what it needed to do, but like it's a lot of phony shit out here. That's what I will say. Like I said again, the best promotion is collaboration, networking. You know what I'm saying? Getting people to put you in front of their audience and vice versa. That's how you know you're getting real people behind your shit. You know what I'm saying?
And then just know if you go on somebody else's platform, you gotta also. That's another thing too, because like, say you're trying to be on somebody's platform, right? Nobody owes you that, and you got to think about yourself too. Like, what is the value I'm bringing to this other person's platform? Like, again, like everybody is different, so you can't just be walking around expecting, just because we see each other, we follow each other, something like that, I could be on your platform and you could boost me up. You got to think like, also again, as commercial media, what's good for the brand. Like if your image and things like that, I even said that in the video, if your image don't even mix with their image, you got to think long term, a little bit longer than just trying to get popping today. This is a long process. It take a minute, but it take, if you, I kind of equate it to, them games, Mario Kart, where you know what I'm saying, you driving, but then you got them little boosts. If you hit the boost lane, you'll take off, but that has to be the right step for you. You have to do your thing and, you know what I'm saying, be consistent with it and catch that win. Yeah. Any other features about YouTube that you wanted to point out?
So yeah, the main thing was they got that subscription thing coming, which is needed. Collaboration, and then I feel like consist. So like, and that'll kind of segment me into IG too. So like, because I've done I feel like YouTube responds well to constant posting, whereas I did videos every day for like years on Instagram. It don't. Instagram's like every time you post, that shit needs to go up, and then they'll show somebody a post from like 3 months ago, and people still clicking it. So you don't necessarily need to keep feeding. If you feeding new shit and only 5 niggas is liking it, they gon'
Instagram fools you like
that.
It's
shit.
like, is your shit working though? Like, is people clicking that?
YouTube, you can kind of like just And then another thing I noticed about YouTube, why I don't since I feel like YouTube is competing, like the big thing now is streaming. So YouTube is competing with Twitch and Kick and all that shit. Once I realized all my regular uploads got like half the amount of views as my live streams.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm not making videos no more. Like I'm only going, like I used to wonder why Dolo only went live. And then I was like, at least double.
Live
at least
is different.
So now everything I do, I save time. I don't gotta edit. And it's like, so now all I do is go live because I feel like you said earlier, like these platforms, they push certain shit that they want you to use.
Yeah.
So they're trying to. The big thing now is streaming. So streaming is
Yeah.
essentially going live, Kick and Twitch. So like if you go live, they're gonna show your shit to more people as opposed to you just uploading the video. So once I figured that shit out,
Right.
I was like, oh, yeah, that shit is dead. So that's helped my
Yeah.
channel a lot too, just going live.
Live. And yeah, me too. Like you'll get a lot of new traction because that's the thing too. Like when you're posting videos, the videos really feed your people.
Yeah,
And when you're thinking about, so that's another way to approach this commercial media stuff. Is like you have to think expansion, contraction. So the contraction is all of your specialty content, the videos you'll sit down and make and polish. That's why I like, even me, I've been taking a different approach to just my actual videos, because I'm like, okay, well, these things are the kind of like, these are the things that's, I just said it basically, like these are the things that are keeping, like, it's like the internal growth, like, so how people are familiar with the brand is going to come from that, but how to get new people in new reach is the expansion is going to be through lives. And shout out to Maestro, he just said what about YouTube shorts, and he pointed out that they're increasing the YouTube short time. And that is another aspect too, because even with IG, the introduction of Reels, they're trying to compete with TikTok and things like that and keep
right.
people on that short form. Honestly, I've been seeing a lot of things where YouTube, even though they are looking at streaming, YouTube is trying to be the new TV. And a lot of what they doing now is more so conditioning people to understand, like, look at your channel as an actual television channel.
Right.
And I think that it'll probably be smart to figure out how you want to program. Like, if you don't understand programming, when you go to a TV, like back in the day when you went to a TV channel, there was blocks of time for different shows. And you know, there, say you was on a sports channel like ESPN, there's a time in which that game is going live. So if you could figure out a creative way to integrate these different things into like a nice little ecosystem channel, to where, because one thing I noticed is that in today's age, majority of people got a smart TV, and a lot of people, they might have like Netflix and Hulu and all these other things, but they really be, a lot of people just let YouTube play
Yeah, for
the
sure.
music, but down to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people's shows is on YouTube now. So it's like, if you think in terms of that, understand that YouTube is one of these, it's like YouTube is like the oldest of all the streaming or the social media platforms, now commercial
Is it?
media. Kinda like you, well,
That don't sound right,
I'm
but it might be. Is it older than Facebook?
well, yeah, it is. Because
Damn,
remember,
that's crazy.
YouTube came
Because it
out.
still feels like kind of newer. So that's, hey,
Yeah.
shout out to you two. Y'all doing something right.
Shout
Because
out to you. Yeah. I
it
mean,
don't feel
YouTube
like
is like,
it don't feel like a Facebook or some shit. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
YouTube is as big as Google. It's like, if you're thinking of companies that's like been here and really set the tone, YouTube is that. Like, if TV were to not exist, I mean, YouTube is that. YouTube is the first to give people that platform to say, hey, make a video and post it up line and share it. So they were ahead of the game before everybody. And you know, they're an app just like those ones, but they want to be a more like, they want to be an app that's 24/7 playing on your TV screen,
Yeah.
going all, you know, all day, all night. And so even with the, but you know, back to the shorts play out same way as reels do on IG, which is for expansion. So, you know, you want to think reels is like, you know, the things that's gonna get people hooked. Because I was doing that too, making reels, and what I noticed was, because sometimes they'll hit and sometimes they won't. It's really, I'm still experimenting myself, but what
You
I've
mean
seen
Reels
is
or
that
YouTube Shorts or both?
shorts,
Okay.
shorts. But I do agree with what you said about IG in general, where when I'm posting reels like every day, if I'm not like, if they're not picking up traction, they go into a void too.
Right.
Instagram is real kind of like strict
Like
about showing people
Instagram
your
is
stuff.
like, it's like the most like
Yeah,
presentational.
bougie.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
TikTok, you can kind of just be yourself, talk
yeah,
shit. YouTube, you got IG is like the shit that they talk about where it's like mental disorder, because everybody's it's like it wants you to post your best days, your best
yeah.
photos, your
We
best
want to see, yeah,
yeah,
best
it
real
really wants
estate.
you to do so. Like for me, like my YouTube, I mean not my YouTube, my IG is strictly just like music, and then like the music that's like my it's a whole roll. I have like rollouts
Yeah,
for every
yeah.
IG
You do
post.
rollouts pretty like I
Yeah,
saw,
like, and
and that's what I
that's
was seeing.
boosted my growing on IG the most. Like I said,
Right,
I did for years just posting, post. My shit just
right,
was not moving at all. Once I started
right.
collaborating and doing like real manicured rollouts for IG, love that shit. So you can post
Yeah.
once a month, but if that shit is,
If it look
and
good, yeah.
nigga,
If it look
it'll
like a
show it to
movie,
people over and over and over and
yeah.
over again.
I remember Instagram was even trying to do the thing where it had IGTV, and they were trying to do shows and episodes on there. I wonder if they're ever going to try to do that again. I
Yeah,
think
that
they're
kind of
leaning more
fizzled
towards
out a
music.
little bit. I feel like
Yeah,
they started competing with TikTok. They're so petty. Like they was
yeah,
like I remember you could only do reels and like it's so dumb.
yeah. They
It's
were tripping.
all of this shit we talking about is kind of low key retarded. It's like keeping up with the Joneses. You know, your
Right,
parents had keeping up with the Jones. It's like keeping up with the algorithm.
right.
But it is what it is. It's like if keeping up with the algorithm is like you either gonna be keeping up with the algorithm or keeping up with your boss calling you to go into work. So it's like
Yeah,
it's a lesser
right.
of two evil type shit. At least with the algorithm, you can do what you want. Well, to an extent, say what you
Yeah,
want. To an extent,
but
shadow banning is a thing.
you,
But
yeah, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, and that's another thing too. Is like commercial media. Like, what's good for the brand? Like, you have to think. Like, okay, the algorithm going to treat me right if I do things according to making my brand look like how they want their platform to function. So
right,
if I'm using their features and I'm understanding their policies and I'm talking in the language that is, might be on that line but can still slip through, you can find a nice medium. Now it's depending on what you're trying to do though, because if you don't care about those things, by all means, do what you want to do on there. But understand you got to think about it not as, oh, this social media, so I'm just getting my stuff off. This is commercial media. So if I
right,
want my brand to grow, I might have to understand how the game works and play the game. Or if I don't care about that, then my brand will be on its own wherever it's at. But you run the risk of getting shadow banned or thrown into the void. Where if you actually are trying to push something valuable, if you don't mix that medicine with the soda, it's gonna fall flat. It's gonna be like nobody's seen it. So it could be the
right,
most valuable thing in the world, but if it don't reach, then you don't belong on the platform at all. It's like you
right.
might as well be in the streets with a sign. Like,
And artists hate that. Like I
yeah,
saw a perfect meme. It was like the letter M, and it was holding up a baby, and it was all happy and shit like that. And it was like M, and then it said like aching music. So like making music was like amazing. And they had another little kid in the corner. He was like crying and shit like that. And it said like marketing. So it's like artists
yeah,
hate the
right,
marketing aspect of it because like that's the old system. It's like the artist just got to
yeah,
be the artist and the label or the financier or whoever, even if we're not talking about music, like even painters and shit like that, they had patrons and shit. Like you just
right.
got to be completely in your artistic flow, and everything else will get handled for you. That shit don't work like that no more.
But that's what we be saying about community and building a team and stuff like that. Because if you got a team behind you, and even back what you had pointed out, and my bad to cut you off because
No, I'm
you was
like I'm
going,
interested. Nah,
no, no.
I want to hear it.
But
Yeah.
building a team is like you don't have to take it all alone, and I think that's even an indicator too of the times we in too. Um, I still look at it like Pluto being an Aquarius. That's the Aquarian energy involved in transformation, and we can go all off about what Pluto represents, but just it's an emphasis on Aquarian energy, which is individual but systematic with a
Collective.
team. If
Yeah.
I know that people within my community, like for instance, you got a camera, we linked up together. I directed. You shot the show. So it's like this is an example of how, yeah, I might know how to hold a camera too, but we not in a time anymore where it has to be a one man band. Where I feel like before, especially pre 2020, it was like, no, you need to get up and you really do have to hold the camera yourself because no one knows you. No one, you have to do your own thing. No one even believes that you really make music, and nobody really believes that you're an artist or whatever. Like pre 2020, you couldn't really have dreams. They was laughing at you if you had dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so funny. Like we just spent so long with the age of Pisces. It's like, and dreams. Like if that ain't a job, then we don't care about it. But then what I'm saying, it turned into now where it's like, no, if you got an idea that's good enough for you to pick up a phone and make it lit yourself, but then other people who got skill sets too, you can really make something happen. We got Saturn and Pisces now. It's like you can make that a real thing if you know how to organize that team. And even your favorite artists is like they just had people behind them, and you
I'm,
realize,
I'm glad you said that because you one nigga you always and I hate this nigga so much, bro. I can't, but you always be talking about him. This nigga La Russell.
Oh
And the
yeah,
reason
right.
why I don't fuck with him, bro, is because I've seen his first of all, I just think he's corny, but like that's subjective. People think
Yeah,
I'm corny, so
I
that
feel
don't
you.
really matter. But like he went to he was on his what was it, that Power 106, the LA freestyle and shit like that. And they were just talking about like yo team is like he brought like a whole like he's a whole sit like he got a whole bunch of people behind him. And I
Yeah,
guess to a extent I just kind of resent that because I'm like, bro, I just like shouts to Dolo, but like I was just doing the shit Dolo, like what no. So I'm like nigga, fuck it. Don't give me advice about you need to do this. You had a team, nigga. People were
but
supporting the shit you was doing.
right. But see, what I respect is because if you know how he started that, how he got a team
Put me on
was
game.
him throwing a party in his backyard, performing with himself. And slowly but surely, people who was invested in what he had to do, like anybody with a talent and a gift, you are a shining light and you attract the people. But it's your job to be a person who knows how to delegate tasks and who know how to build with those people, not take advantage of them. But he he realized, hey, I got a gift, and this gift is strong enough. If I can go far enough, I got this vision. All I need is hey, I need somebody to hold a camera. Hey, I need somebody to do this. And I think that's that disconnect where I feel you because at for a long time I was in that same space too. But like when I like small things like especially like shooting the show that we shot, the creators on vacation, that's when it really was clicking. Even before that, the 717 conference, like I had to reach out to y'all and be like, hey, look, I'm doing an event. I can perform, but I can't perform for 3 hours and film it and be on drinks and sell things all day long. It's like
Right.
it anything you do is gotta like you need the people. And I think that yeah, you get some people on greedy stuff, but I think the beauty of like the social media stuff being it's like if you understand it as commercial media, look for people with skills in your audience, like look for people in the comments who actually do stuff like, oh, I looked at your page, I realized, hey, you do graphic design, hey man, I need a cover art. Exchange the bread, build the rapport, now y'all cooking. And then eventually after a couple times it's like, hey yo, I got this idea, what if we did some kind of, y'all can go on a project and it could be a pro bono thing or a mutual agreement. Y'all can go in on a business. Now that's real community building because community just at the social end, that's just a fan club or that's just we just kicking it, gossiping. But
Right.
if business is getting done, if we using our talents to and building our skills on top of that, that's where the gold is. And like Mike sure he just said, did y'all know the cameraman owns the rights to the video? Yeah, all that legal stuff again, y'all gotta how we associate with each other, even when you're doing collaborations. Think about that too. Think about protecting your intellectual property and how both of y'all can mutually benefit. Y'all need to have those discussions, put it on paper, get contracts, get serious. Because like that's what it really is now. It can't be social. It can't be, oh, we friends, you got a camera, oh, we just go out shoot videos. It's hey, I'm coming at you, and we might know each other, we mess with each other, but I want to help. I want to take my intellectual property and your intellectual property or your expertise. I want to combine. We're doing a collab now, so let's put something on paper, or if we can be gentlemen about it and do some kind of agreement other than doing legal contracts, because everybody on different levels. You do that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
got a question for you
Yeah.
because I feel what you're saying on the commercial media shit, but let's say there's a person because at the end of the day, if we're being honest, like I feel like we're so in this community that we kind of assume that everyone in the world is doing what we're doing and shit like that. But for the most part, though, there is a good majority of I ain't gonna say majority, but there's a good number of people out there who don't have like they don't make music. They
Yeah.
don't want to be a content creator. They don't want to own their own business. So, but like they're still on these apps. So it's like even though it's commercial media, you can't necessarily force everybody in the world to be a business, you know what I'm saying, or
Oh
be
yeah.
commercial. What would you say to those people then?
I would say the platform is no longer built for your interest. So you would have to understand that first. This platform no longer supports socializing, and you can still post. You can do whatever you want to do on these platforms, but it's monetized. So when you scroll, you're gonna see majority of people selling you something. You might see your cousin, you might see your uncle. I think Facebook is more tailored to that, but it's like you might see your cousin, uncle, but you're gonna see a majority of people who pay to have their content programmed into your algorithm, and based upon what you click like, you're gonna see a majority of that. So again, that could be tailored to your interest. You don't have to be a business, but I would say if you recognize that these apps that once were conditioned for social are no longer social, it's like you can either look for other apps, because like somebody was talking about how they have a good time on like an app like Pinterest. You know what I'm saying? Which is tailored to just liking photos and things that look like stuff you're into. So I would say like, and the thing is like, I'm the type of person I'm gonna be like, look, do what you want and run it how you want. You're gonna it's gonna be something in there that you'll like. But if you're in 2024 on these apps thinking that you're just gonna make friends or you're just gonna, you can, but it's not built for that no more.
Right.
So you're gonna have a harder time. And I think that's also why people are on these apps, first of all, distracted, stuck in loops, like just constantly scrolling content and maybe even posting things, trying to reach out for friendships. It's like you need to figure out, like, even on that end, if you're on them apps for friendship, figure out, like, actually meet these people, actually set up things, like, be safe, be discerning. But again, you might get scammed and you might get, finesse, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then shout out to Free. She said, find things you support, be supporter or customer. We always gonna have consumers, right?
That's
Real,
real
real
shit.
talk.
Yeah. So if you
Real
ain't, yeah,
talk.
you could still be a
Support.
supporter,
Yeah.
because people ain't nothing without people to support that. So
Yeah.
it may seem like it's a power dynamic thing, but it's really just like
It's really not.
we
And
all
see,
here for each other type shit. Like,
right. And when you support somebody genuine and you on these apps and you looking for those connections, it's like you can, like, for instance, how we had a conference and people who don't make music ended up coming through to the conference.
yeah,
People who don't make content came to the conference and they had a great time and they met people and they got to meet the people that create stuff that they consume.
yeah. So it's like it can still be social, but the
Still be
social
social.
aspect comes from people identifying what
Right.
these people. Oh, y'all are selling this. I like participating in that
Right.
too. I could be social in that community, but it all
Yeah.
came from
Because
motherfuckers pushing a brand or something like
right,
that.
but because before people went online to shop, they went to their favorite store and they met people who was in line. It was like, oh, shit, you cool. So, and even in that, and I feel like that's a big open space in today's time where there's no more spaces in which people who have common interests can just kick it. Like, there is, but not like you got to pay for something there. Like, if we go bowling, we got to pay for bowling. We go to mini golf, we got to pay for that.
Bruh,
We
yeah,
can
like
kick it at the
everything is
park,
just
but
taxed for no reason.
tax for no reason. So it's like it's like if you a person online and you trying to make friends, you need to figure out who you can support, who's throwing an event, and pop up, and then meet people who into what you into. You Star Wars Club, they got all kinds of Comic Con, Fan Con, Star Wars Con, all these different
Yeah.
conventions. That's literally the same thing. So yeah, that's kind of how I say
Okay.
it.
And then to answer my own question too, from like a mental health standpoint, I would, because I've seen people do this.
Yeah,
They'll post some shit and it's like, oh man, my shit not getting no likes, my shit not getting no views, and it's because it's just a selfie. You know what I'm saying? It's not
yeah,
commercial. It's just social. So I
yeah.
think this is even like how I was saying this is like a good diagnosis for them. It's like now you cannot take that personal,
Personal, right?
that like no one is liking your shit, because the
Yeah,
platform isn't catered to people liking their friends shit anymore. It's
yeah,
catered towards who is making the best television show or selling the best
right.
so even this sounds like this is quote unquote only helping content creators, but even for people who don't do that, to have a better mind frame, it's like don't beat
Yeah,
yourself up so much when people not fucking with your shit, because it's not. So now y'all can have a healthy. Oh, okay, I
right,
get it. So let me not take it so
right.
personal, which is easier
Like,
said than done, but you got to
we're
fucking
real.
do it.
It's never been more relevant to keep in mind that this is internet stuff. Like, this is internet, meaning commercial. Like your value is not tied to how many likes you got, and you don't
Right.
need to be so concerned about who's watching your stuff, how many things, and even down to content creators. You like, oh, every day I gotta push content, slow down. Figure out what you even want to do. You have to enjoy yourself with it, or you're gonna burn out. And it's not gonna get you, even if you were to get viral tomorrow, like you're not even prepared for that pressure. It's like, so calm down and get good at what you do and understand like this you got to think more long term, because I think looking at it as social media, people look at it as a popularity thing. It used to be
Yeah.
a popularity thing. If I post a selfie, however many people like it is how valuable I am, and people
Right.
got that in their brain, like, especially not now. Now it's like, no, there's people who really, depressed about how much traction they get, and it's like it's not even catered to you. You posting your
Right.
cat, like nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is,
Yeah, and that's a
That was a
bar,
great point
Blazing
though,
Mellow. He
Mark.
said even on a spiritual level, your body is built by lesser spirits who support the cause. That's real shit. Your body
Right.
is a whole bunch of organisms, the same way we
Right.
living inside a bigger organism. So like that's
Right.
just always the mo. I'm moving closer to the shit to plug my phone in because it's about to die. But
Gotcha.
you trying to talk about? So I kind of touched on YouTube and IG. You trying to touch on
Yeah.
TikTok and the other joint?
TikTok and
Twitter,
Twitter.
because I do
Yeah.
not have a
So
Twitter. I do not have Twitter.
and shout out to Maestro. He said Discord. I think I'll touch on Discord real quick. Discord is cool. It's conditioned for community based. Honestly, Discord got so many different features, and I haven't. I need to use Discord more, but
Right,
Discord is
yeah.
really
Maybe I'm an
dope.
old nigga. I don't know what the fuck. The first time I heard about Discord, it was like if you want to send some shit and the feds can't look at it or something. Like
Yo, yeah, some weird.
it's like
Yeah,
encrypted. I thought it
that's
was
what they
like for
said
that.
that about
Like,
Telegram too.
oh
But
yeah, maybe that's
Telegram
what
on
I'm
some
thinking
weird
of.
stuff.
But like some private shit. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah. As far as
Discord
like
is like
Discord and
conditioned.
Twitch, and I need to get on that shit, but I don't be fucking with none of that.
Yeah, Discord was made for like gamers to have like a place that they could chop it up during games because they couldn't hear each other. Like Discord lit. Honestly, I need to look more into it. It's good for community building and community based stuff too. So I got one, but I need to actually invest in it to get the most out of it.
Yeah, it's on my phone, but I don't know what the fuck that shit do.
Right, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of crazy how like gaming took over all this shit, like, cause it's like I don't know, like it be kind of like, damn, do I need to go buy a fucking PlayStation 2 to
But
be a
dude,
fucking rapper?
think about what games really is. It's like it's supposed to be your off time. So it's like if you got a PlayStation and I got a PlayStation and we both artists, we should be playing each other. And as like, what I'm saying, it kind of is like a natural thing. Like, oh, you doing that on your off time? Okay, like people, it's just more content,
My thing
honestly.
is like, who got off time? It's
Honestly,
geared towards it's like, bro, I don't have
yeah, that's
between
that
the
kid. But
content, the music, the making them, bro. I don't have no time to be playing no fucking. I'm like, how do y'all
but
niggas have so much time to play 2K?
if you but think about it though, yeah, right. But you think about people who are on that level making the most out of it. It's like if you one of these artists who your business is straight and you got a
Yeah, I
team and
get
you
it
got things,
at
yeah,
that level. Yeah,
yeah,
but for
yeah. But
like
right now,
niggas who's trying to make it happen, it's like y'all
hey,
playing 2K,
every
bro.
real nigga knows that time you was at that pawn shop with your PlayStation, like, hey, I need that.
Bro,
I'll be right back on.
I made a vlog. What was that? The Tower 23. I took my goddamn camera to the pawn shop. Got to go watch
Yo,
that shit.
heartbreak. Yeah,
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. But nah, we in a better
good
space, but
space.
it's got to get even better than that. You know what I'm saying? We got to
Yeah,
keep. So that's what this shit is about. How we goddamn make this some
right.
shit where this could be full time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, let me go ahead and hit this Twitter stuff because we've been on for a good little minute. So for the Twitter features, there's a couple of different things you can do on Twitter. Twitter to me is like a blog. Like it's just people talking. Like, and if you want the most out of it, see when you're making tweets and stuff, if you're talking to yourself, that's cool because it's like blogs. Like it's a modern day blog. You could just kind of talk about what you into, what you going on, what's on your mind. The thing about it is Twitter is it's like if you want people to interact with your post, you have to interact with theirs. So it's about inserting yourself into conversations that you're also interested in. That's the whole idea of it. Even though it's X now, it's still built on Twitter, that bird, and doing air-like things. So like kind of it's about not even taking things personal, getting in there, getting in the conversation. And once you get people on your page, another thing you can do from there is create they got Twitter Spaces, which is like that old Clubhouse thing where it's like you're able to talk to a community of people and you can make people moderators and build like that. And there's a notification that gets sent out to everybody who you're following or who follows you that hey, I'm holding a space right now, just talking. So anything to do with a lot of talking, that's where you want to be at. And depending on what you trying to do, you can, make that platform work for you. Now, for me personally, it works better as a social commentary than it does an actual like you can make money from it if you get a subscription, but again, it's about how much engagement you bring in. And to get the engagement on that platform, you have to be inserting yourself into conversations. You have to kind of think of witty ways to say things. And me personally, it never really did anything for me that was special because I feel like it's more like if you're already popping and you on Twitter is like and people already talking about your name and stuff, then it's kind of cool to capitalize on because you can jump into things and you can kind of direct the narrative if you want. But if you're trying to build yourself up, Twitter's really like a black hole. It could be a waste of time. There's so many things on there, just people talking. You're ingesting people's thoughts all day. So it could be
Everything you just said made me feel like, okay, I'm glad I don't have a Twitter.
yeah, it ain't. It really ain't nothing, bro.
Bruh, everything I was waiting for it. Like, okay, but maybe I need to get. Nah, I'm good.
Nah,
I'm good on it.
it's really yeah, man. And the thing about it is, if you want to turn it into a blog and that's your bag, because you just want to get your thoughts off, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
like I kind of be putting spiritual sweets, or maybe I'll put like something related to astrology. But if I were to get into astrology conversations more, it probably could be beneficial because I'm in the conversation. But
Right.
that's a
And
task. You got to think of it like
that's
that's a task.
see, that's what like people probably see how much I post on social media and be like, this nigga always on social media. But it's like, no, I'm always posting on. I
Right.
consume so little fucking because like for me, it's like this shit is like it's a lot of pros to it. That's what we're talking about in this
Yeah.
video. But
Yeah.
this shit very easily becomes like mental illness. And I feel like what you said about like in order for your tweet, see like IG, everything else you can kind of you gotta have
Post and go.
community with like other creators, but I
Right.
don't
Right.
have to be like in the
Constantly
mix.
feeding.
Like
Yeah.
my favorite Kanye quote is my favorite Kanye quote was from his Drink Chance interview where like the nigga was blowing the horn and he was like, "Can you stop doing that? I got a gentle mental." And I feel like that
Yeah.
describes me. It's like my mental is so fucking gentle. Like I can't handle
Right.
everybody else's thoughts. I can barely handle like I see the first couple of niggas that pop up on my feed, and then once I'm like, nah, let me get because
Yeah.
it's like it just like as a creator, I feel like it just muddies my own message and it's like a waste of time. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I
You
know a
kind
lot
of
of people think it's like holier than thou, like, oh, this nigga don't interact, but it's like literally like for my sanity. It's like, bro, I
yeah.
cannot consume too much shit. Like
And
I
see,
just can't. Like
and you shouldn't feel weird about that. Like this shit is like it's programming. Like you have to under. That's why it's like it's healthier to look at it from the lens of commercial media because it's not meant for you to be trying to socialize and reason with it. Like, oh, it will consume you. Where that's
yeah,
what you see nowadays. People spend hours and hours and hours just because it's like even how you feel like I think we had the conversation before, probably on our own respective channels about consumption and production. If you're consuming all day, it's gonna be hard to produce, and what you produce gonna have remnants of what you've been consuming,
right,
and that's what these apps are programmed to do: shove a bunch of food down your throat. You know what I'm saying? Esoterically, like you know what I'm
right,
saying? Like constantly consume, consume, consume. To the point where at the end of the day, if you spent all day on that, you like, well, where's my thought? And that's how people end up procrastinating. And it makes you depressed because you're just watching a bunch of people do cool stuff that they
right,
got the money to do because there's a team behind it, there's a deal behind it, they're getting paid. Like these content creators you're seeing who can produce these crazy content all day long and they have a whole machine behind them. And that's where the playing field gets mixed, and where even again, the only way individuals like us can really compete is if we do work with what we have, which is each other,
Right.
community. Like
We got to
we
make
on
our
the
own
ground.
machine type shit
We know
because the
what.
things that we talk about in our content isn't propagated by the current machine. Not to make it too
Right,
matrixy, but it's like literally we're
right.
fighting against the machines, but it's like
But but we see, and even how like you look at like Hollywood movies, they're scared, they're terrified to do something new, and it's just an open vacuum that's like, please somebody from the ground up, like please somebody build something and
yeah,
produce
there's
something
no
new.
risk and the art is
Please,
suffering so bad, but like
it,
art can't die. So it's like
art cannot
it's really
die.
exciting, but it's like
It
also
is
very hard.
stressful. Yeah, like it's great from a, what I'm saying, a story aspect, but it is, we in the ground level, and I think like what we're doing now really is that good fight of just laying the groundwork, because I've been saying, like we've been saying, the new world, there has to be new structure, and with all these laws and regulations that's coming, we got to be more strategic on how we use this. And if you don't see it as commercial media now, best believe all the regulations that come, you ain't never gonna see your cousin's post. Your post, like you ain't never gonna see your cousin dog Instagram post.
Right.
Never. Like it's gonna be so many ads, but by the time you get there, that you're gonna be burnt out. You're not even gonna realize it's that what you're looking at. But
Yeah, it's crazy because like I remember like 2020 is when the shift happened. It's like all these brands got on it. That's even when I started in my personal, like I used to, my company in its inception was just video production, but then 2020 hit and it's like, bro, everybody is just
you got
on,
a
like
camera.
companies included, is like figuring, everybody's trying to figure out how to get followers. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like my experience as just being a rapper like really helped out my business in that sense, because it's like as a rapper you got to be your own promoter,
Yeah.
you got to be put, so
Got to
it's
be
like
creative.
I can take that and like we can't like there's people who like have budgets and companies and shit, like they don't know how to do a single thing that's
Right.
like, and every business had to become like personable. It was weird. So
Yeah.
it's like it was social media and
Wendy's
the
was
whole
tweaking
allure
and
of
stuff.
it was that it was personal. But then once all the brands got on it, it's like we want to look personal, but backed and supported by all
Business.
this is some money. It's a brand. So it's like it
Right.
may look like, oh yeah, I'm an influencer. This is just what I do in my day. But if that company didn't pay that influencer to make that video, you wouldn't be seeing it. So it's like
Exactly. It
they
ain't
muddied the
good.
waters real good. But it's like
Yeah.
I ain't mad. I'm just gonna get in how I get in.
And and how like even the analogy of saying muddy in the waters, like that's what it was. Businesses getting on these platforms was the mud, and now we in a pool of commercialized ass shit,
Right.
monetized ass shit. Like, no, this is
Even if you
different.
think of like the personal being like the water and then the material being the earth, it's like the
Yeah,
material came and now it's like mud. It's like we trying
yeah.
to look
Your
like, oh,
feelings,
this is just your friend. This is just some
bro.
personal, but it's really about the earth though. It's
Right.
really about the money though. Like
I don't know if you've seen Casanat had he's doing a partnership with McDonald's
I seen
now.
that shit. I'm like, oh my God.
But again, the idea of a streamer kid with no, like just a streamer kid being in a deal with McDonald's 4 years ago wouldn't even be on the table. And it's like four
No, I feel
years
like
ago,
they've been doing, McDonald's been doing deals for, but then they had like the sweetie meal. They had
Sweetie though, a grown woman who's an artist, music.
okay. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
Just a
saying? This is
streamer,
a
like, yeah,
kid,
yeah, yeah. Who got a
and you
label
seen this
backing and
stuff.
shit. Nah, I feel you. I feel you.
And it's like, and it's crazy because it was a full circle moment, because he did an old skit back when he was first starting at McDonald's, and they recreated that commercial for now.
Mm.
It was
Yeah,
like
companies love that type of, that like organic, like
they
it's
love that,
like
yeah.
cobalt mine and like
But
gold mine. It's like
yeah, but
we be having this shit to make it look real. I even saw a fire ass. It was like some niggas in some country in Africa. I want to say like Nigeria or some shit like that. But they was like, you know what I'm saying, dirt roads and shit. But they still got smartphones. And they did
right,
like a Samsung versus
like
iPhone video.
y'all
The
ain't gonna
shit was
pay that. Y'all,
hilarious. I went to their channel and it's like, yeah, it was Nigeria. Cause I remember like, cause in the video it was basically like showing how like Samsung is better than iPhone. Literally,
right,
Samsung corporate reached out to them, gave them a deal, and was like, so it's like that's the best form of marketing, is like making it organic and from the
yeah,
people and shit like that. But at the end of the day, it's still all backed by that money. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like it
it.
came across my timeline because it was promoting goddamn Sam's like an
Right.
iPhone. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's a good segue into the Twitter thing too, because if you buy their subscription, your posts automatically get boosted more than the regular person's tweet and stuff like that. So and then
So wait,
you
people
know,
like buy to subscribe to your tweets essentially now?
well, you buy basically that little blue check to verify your account. Once you're a verified
Oh,
account, you
and then
get
you get
different
boosted
features.
up based off that.
Yeah, you get slight. It's not a crazy boost, but you get access to more features. Now you can actually have a membership on your Twitter page, and people can subscribe to your, say your tweets and stuff, and only see your
Okay.
stuff.
It's kind of like the SoundCloud Premiere. I used to have that shit back
Basically,
in the SoundCloud era. I had to check on my
basically,
SoundCloud and shit like that. I was like, it
yeah,
was like the exclusive one. You know what I'm saying? Pay for that little. It's crazy.
yeah.
SoundCloud not even, don't even. They had a whole genre of music and they don't even exist no more.
They slept. They
I mean, niggas
SoundCloud could
still
have
fuck
been.
with it, but like it's nowhere near what it used to be.
Yeah, SoundCloud kind of low key dropped the ball because they could have really made their stuff, their platform, crazy.
Bro, yeah,
But
and that was so good from bro. Before I don't know how long you was on it, but they had a point where they had like a community. You could
yeah,
just like post, bro. That shit was like priceless. Like,
bruh.
bro, that's how I remember when I first started making music. My big thing was like, I got to get 1,000 plays on this song, and I was just in the
Are they still
SoundCloud
trying to do
community.
that, or did they kind of give up
They
on
got rid
actually?
of like it was like an explore type thing. It was like they
Yeah,
might have something similar, but they got rid of that shit along. That's when I got off SoundCloud. I'm like, bro, y'all don't got the
yeah,
explore shit. I'm off this shit. My views stopped going because you could just post your shit, but
yeah.
it is what it is.
But going into last thing I'm gonna say about Twitter too, they got it's not really important. They got a highlights thing where you can highlight a tweet and stuff. So if you had a real cool video or something you was promoting, you can highlight it and you can pin it. These different things. Twitter's like kind of different for reach. Like honestly, if anything, if you could stir up a bunch of drama and then direct people to a YouTube video you made, that's like your best bet on Twitter and shit.
That's what I felt like the MO was for Twitter. I'm like, it's just so
Yeah,
drama based. I
stir
was
it up
like, it's
and be like,
good for
I'm gonna be
going
over
viral
here.
like that, but like, is it worth my mental health? And I just was like,
Yeah, right.
it's not. So I just haven't
Right.
been on it. But I will say, bro, my first kind of viral success was on Twitter. So this is what, like 2010 or some shit like that.
Damn.
We had we used to throw parties at my school, and we got like all like this is before anybody had ever heard of influencer or shit like that. We basically just got like all like the bad girls from the county of the school that we was in, and
Yeah.
we had a hashtag for this party we was throwing. It was called the Big Ass Party. And
Okay.
like, bro, that shit got more. And then the night of the party, that shit was. If you went to Atlanta trending, it
See,
said the Big Ass
back
Party,
then,
and that's one of the proudest accomplishments of my life. I ain't gonna hold you. I still be talking about
man,
that shit. I'm like, damn, like we really just made some
back
shit
then
like in
though,
Atlanta. That shit was trending, bro. Like
see, and it's crazy because like, what year was that?
this is like I want to say 2010, 2010.
See, yeah, 2010. That's when the peak of. That's when social media was social because you
Social,
could
literally, it
do
was a
stuff like
party.
that.
Like
I remember like back when I was in school and stuff like that. If there was a hashtag on that campus, it was lit like that. Like, oh, everybody knew where to go because the
right.
environment was conditioned. It's completely not that game no more. It's like you gonna get
Mm.
a tweet by somebody in Omaha talking about what another celebrity did, and like you gonna get weird tweets about you just gonna get random stuff, like random information. It don't even be localized no more. I remember even Snapchat did stuff like that where you could have a localized filter. And we did that to promote a short film we was doing. It was like you could do a localized filter, and we had people film that. And we put that in the actual thing. But
Yeah.
it's just different, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and go on the TikTok so we can wrap this joint up. So on TikTok is kind of like the new. It's kind of like the platform you really want to look at as far as getting more traction and expanding your kind of brand because TikTok is like that new kid on the block. It's like it's got the most attention, the most eyes on it because people don't know where it's gonna go. Now TikTok has kind of been conditioned to uh if you were to think as it's almost like kind of like because I heard a lot of people say that they want to turn TikTok also into the primary kind of like video platform that people be on. So how everybody thought that the key was short form content, and this is low key the reason why YouTube Shorts is making their shorts longer because they're trying to like TikTok. how they got a 10-minute video. They want people to make long form content on
Yeah.
TikTok and turn that into like a TV in your pocket, basically.
It's so dumb. It's like TikTok is copying YouTube, and then YouTube copies TikTok, but it's like it's
Bruh.
copying itself because it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? Like, this shit is retarded. But yeah.
So that's basically what you got with TikTok. But a couple things that's gonna boost your reach is gonna be, of course, getting on TikTok Live, which is a bit of a curve because you got to get 1,000 people. I don't know if there's a like requirement, but I know you got to get 1,000 followers. So, but the cool thing about TikTok is there's a pocket you can get stuck in where you only get 200 views. So even me, I'm at that point. I'm trying to break free from that, but
yeah,
it's a matter of understanding. Like you have to. It's almost like Twitter, but in video form. Like if you could figure out what people are talking about and you can insert yourself with something valuable, that's like a good way to kind of break that little chain. But I would say also from my experience being on there, anything you put on there, if you treat it like basically you have to have a good hook and you have to have something of value to keep people just engaged throughout that whole video and wanting another part. Like if you can get some kind of series going,
like a story time.
Yeah, story
the TikTok
time.
story times.
I suck at that because I'm not really a like. If I'm going to do a story time, I want to shoot it as a film or something like that. Like I don't.
It kind of needs to be flunked out. It's like all the story times
drama
I be seeing is like, oh, look how this nigga cheated on me.
Yeah,
when I was
right.
like, and we got 12 kids together and shit. So you would never believe. It's always some shit like that.
Right.
Like,
It's always so dramatic.
Yeah.
Like it's perfect for people with trauma stories and like
right. So it's kind of similar to Twitter in that sense. But I can fuck with TikTok more because like I still feel like you can. I went fucking viral, bro. So my experience with TikTok is like, it's just fucking random. Like it's like what I will say, I feel like it's the opposite of Instagram in that Instagram favors very manicured, presentable,
polished.
like nice. TikTok don't want to see nothing that looks
raw,
edited, nothing that looks perfect. Anything I post on TikTok that's professional does it'd be like the most. I got a fucking million views on TikTok talking about my nose ring. And I was like, because I was like, oh, if you put it in this way, and I think you told me this one time, you was like, TikTok's kind of like a how-to platform.
Yeah.
But like when I posted it, I literally in my mind, I was in like a thing because I do these little spurts. So I was like, I'm gonna stay consistent on posting. I was posting my music and shit like that, and then one day I had nothing to post. I was like, fuck it, I just talk about my nose ring. Post it, that shit goes fucking viral. But anything I post about my music, it don't never go. I'm like, God damn, this is retarded.
It's interesting too because Jackie had said YouTube is the Gemini, and I'm like, it kind of felt like TikTok is a Sag because it's like it is that kind of energy of like if you got something like to teach on there, it's a gold mine.
It's going
Teaching
up.
And random, like you said, how tos or like, ain't that funny how this and like those types of things go crazy. But like I agree, polished videos that you would think like, man, this is going to do numbers. Nope, that shit falling flat.
No, flunking out on TikTok.
And shout out to Blaze and Mello. He said TikTok got very good algos. He said I get around 600 to 2K views and 1 to 2 followers.
Yeah, TikTok has the best algorithm because it's the newest. Like, the moment I'm surprised the algorithm is still as good as it is. I would have thought they would have slowed down by now. But like that's literally like how they came up. It was like, oh, because IG got co-opted because it's commercial media. So it's like, all right, if you got Nike and fucking all these people putting money in your pocket, you're gonna see these posts before you see your nephew's goddamn graduation or some shit, right? So TikTok to combat that is like, hey guys, we got the algorithm, you know what I'm saying? And they still kind of do.
I think what makes them a bit different is how they approach their product because they have a shop, they have a TikTok shop, right? Which that's another way. If you're able to incorporate the TikTok shop in your video, that should take off too. But because one thing I noticed, even with free stuff, like make sure y'all cop a little shirt from Free Yourself on TikTok.
My shit in the mail. I was like, it was so seamless. It was like, oh, I just hit that, and then I'm like, I need to start selling something. I ain't got no tangible product. I need a tangible product.
But see. Well, matter of fact, we're gonna send you one of these new planners, and you know.
I was thinking it, but I'm like, I ain't gonna say it. I'm like, that shit does. So it still exists.
Yeah, but I got. But yeah, if you're promoting a product on the shop, it not only boosts you, but then it's like it's how on IG you would be promoting a product, but it felt very fake and very like formal, like, hey, y'all, I'm sponsored by this. On TikTok, it's like so raw and it's like people really got the product. So they created like their own little commercial network within.
Yeah.
So it responds to that like feeds their algorithm better, which kind of like it works. It works a lot better for reach just in general than IG does, because IG is so external dealership or external product that I might not even have touched this before. It's like their deals are different. Like they do their deals externally versus TikTok is like it promotes people to buy from other people and then make a video about other people's product on our platform. So it's like
Mm,
in-house. It's like they created their own advertisers and stuff like that.
yeah.
And then you get paid from the affiliate marketing of that. So that's an incentive. So you can go live on TikTok
I'm
and
glad you
that's
told me. I never done TikTok live. I need to start.
yeah.
If I've been hesitant to get StreamYard and shit like that because like I'm like I barely got time because I want to stay with the YouTube lives, but like I might just have to do some shit where I could just put it across all platforms. You can do that on StreamYard, right? Go from
I'm
like
See, I don't like StreamYard though.
I
StreamYard,
don't
the
either. That's why I
quality
never
is
got it.
trash. I think what I'm gonna try, because I thought about that too. I think you might have to figure out something where you're filming on two different devices or
Get
something
two
like that.
different
'Cause I
phones.
thought
That's
about that
probably the
too.
best way. That's yeah.
Yeah, say just to keep it balanced, because it's like, to be honest with you, it's like StreamYard is just, it's every time I've used it, it's been choppy and just kind of.
All right,
But
I'm glad you told me that. See, that's some useful information. Cause I was like, cause I
yeah,
do want to take advantage of that, but yeah, cause that's one thing about TikTok too. Like I said, I posted consistent spiritual content on IG. It didn't do nothing. When I was making my pre-recorded videos, I would take little chopped pieces and put
right.
them on TikTok. And like Blaze and Mello said, they would do like I get like it was like good like. Every
Yeah,
time I post, I'm getting like 2, 3 followers. So it's like
two.
it
Yeah, yeah,
fed that. But
right.
then once I started going live, and I guess I could just clip the live, but I just don't. It just don't feel the same. So I haven't been posting as much on TikTok, so my shit ain't been growing so much because I've been focusing on YouTube. But like
Yeah.
this shit is a fucking full time job.
But and that's why you gotta take it like that. You gotta figure out what flow works for you, because that's at the end of the day, whatever you can do consistently is what you should start with, and let that be what leads you to be like, okay, because like, and this is a great part for all platforms that I advise everybody to look into. I can't go into each one because we already been here for a minute, and what I'm saying, we got to wrap up. But
Right?
for the most part, what I'm
I can
saying,
talk
yeah,
about this all day though, like for
comment
real,
for part
like
two, like, subscribe, share,
bro.
but one thing is, pay attention to your analytics page on each app, because there's some valuable information in that. In particular, YouTube, I seen that they had a little section where they're suggesting, and it might be AI stuff, but they're suggesting when the best times to post are, and you can use information like that just to give you like an idea. Like, say you don't know when to post, you like, man, should I post in the morning? What time? Look on there for inspiration to give you direction to be like, oh, okay, it's telling me I got a better chance of views if I post 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Hey, if I can pump out a video and it works for my schedule around that time, I don't have to just be on slave hours, post content every day. I could start with what's simple and target different, figure out what works for you, but it gives you a starting point. And that information also shows you who's engaging with your stuff, what they're engaging about, and that can give you ideas. It's all about ideas and inspiration, but it's stuff that actually makes sense that could work for you.
I'm
Might
glad
show
you
you
said
some.
that. Yeah, I saw his point about OnlyFans
Yeah,
and Pornhub and shit. He's stupid, and I don't do that type of content, so I can't speak on it. So, but
yeah.
that
That's, I
that's
mean, you got to think
that
it
is a
that
whole
that's like,
ecosystem, though. You're right.
yeah, and you got to think like that's why also it's not social media no more, because it's all about money and that
Yeah,
sells. So if you in that life, that's what you see people doing.
like the baddies used to just want to get likes. Now it's like every time you see a baddie, it's like is the
Subscription.
OnlyFans link in that bio? Like
Yep.
they are selling something. It's not
Yeah.
just yeah. So
What I'm saying? Yeah. And so, like, again, but there's, again, if you're looking at it as social media and you're that's why even what we were saying about people getting caught up in these apps and wasting their life away, that's part of it, because it's just it's like going to a casino in your pocket where it's a bunch of things to get lost in. But if you understand that platform as commercialized and you can figure out how to use it as beneficial for you, then you don't have to, you kind of prevent yourself from getting caught up in just being in a content loop or a pleasure loop, or like just being lost in that casino in your pocket. Like
Or
there's
yeah,
things in
wasting all your
life you have
money,
to
but
do.
it's not your money. It's your esoteric currency, your attention. It's like
Yeah,
you
your mind.
wasting. It's like you just blew a whole bunch of money at the casino. Like literally,
Yeah,
just wasted all your attention and shit. You ain't got nothing to show for it.
you said it right, exactly.
Yeah.
You online looking for this type of stuff. That's what it is now. You're gonna get it pushed in your face. It's gonna be everywhere. So you need to figure out what's best to condition your addiction to it, because a lot of people just addicted to these platforms because of all the things it can do and what's on it. But one thing I'll tell you, like it's like you have to it's like this is internet shit. Life is real. You have to engage with life to get anything real out of it. So if you know, and think about that on a spiritual level, like these things are designed to keep you on them, in them. You're staring at a black mirror all day. So it's like it's like literally a black hole you're being consumed by. They want everybody's mind in their constructed 4D, 3D. Even how metaverse is, they want your mind locked in to the world they created. And what better way to control the world than through the internet, through the phone, through which you can connect to online. And so, this is stuff that it's way deeper than just making a bag. It's about your spirit for real. It's like if you understand what it is, you don't have to fall victim to the tricks and the distractions. You can just understand what it is. This is a commercial media device designed to keep people on it. But if you're using it as a tool, it doesn't control you as much as it probably does now with the wrong perception of it. If you're still looking at it as your source of socializing and I can't connect with my friends until I'm liking posts, and it's like you're lost. You know what I'm saying? It just and I'm just speaking for the people who I'm trying to just help people, man, because it's a trap. It's a clear trap, and it's everything is conditioned to get people on there and really locked in. But at the same time, the world we live in, the game that we playing, you have to know all the tools, all the angles of warfare. And this is a tool that can think about all the great things it does. It made this conversation happen where a lot of people learned a lot of dope shit. And again, things that we can do outside of this, like the 717 conference, each one teach one, learning, teaching each other, building these different things in real life. There's a lot of beautiful things that can be birthed from it, exchanging music, collaborations that no one, collaborations that can heal the world. All of these things are possible, but we just have to have the right perspective on how we use these things. All right.
Boom, mic
Yes,
drop. I
sir.
can't say nothing after that. You got it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Saint Uno. Again, it's always a pleasure to have you on the platform. I appreciate everything you do, man, for real one. In real life, we continue to work together, building all that good stuff. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to him, like his page, share his content, bump his music, and I think we'll catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Peace.
Peace, y'all. Thank you for everybody in the chat too.